Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another edition of the YouTube channel. Too many plugins and Delta X-Ray. I'm your host, Alex. Today we're going to talk about Doom: The Dark Ages. To call it a failure, I don't know. Some people say that, but it's more like a Game Pass filler. Let's really face it. This is basically what this game really is. But we're just gonna talk about, which is kind of weird about all of this, is the price of the game in the European Union, and then also what it runs on. So system specs, and it's gonna get really interesting over here. So it runs on an Xbox Series X and S. S being a very low spec APUs from 2018 19. They were Zen 2 CPUs. They were basically 8 core 16 threaded chips with lower clock speeds and an APU on board. So you could compare it to any APU but then with way lower clock speeds that had then 8 cores and 16 threads in it, and then an APU in it. So that's 5700T or something, and then you have a 5600 GT. That's on a 6 core 12 threaded version, so it needs to be a 57 or a 37 3000 series APU, basically. Sorry, 2000 series APU. That's what you need to compare it to, you know. And it starts getting a little bit interesting over here. If we start looking at the specs for a PC, if it can run on a Xbox Series S, you know, which is really a weak APU in there, you know. Yeah, let's face it, because that's really what it is, you know. It was also a console that was 250 or 300 euros when it came out. You can pick it up sometimes on the sales even for... I've seen them going as low as 200, I think. So there you go. Here in Europe, in Portugal, where normally the price is a little bit higher. I've listened that in the States there was even a deal one time of 130 or 150 euros or dollars for a Xbox Series S, the weaker one, the digital version. But yeah, crazy. We're gonna just go first to SteamDB, and here you can see that here in Europe we're already paying $80 for a that is $70 US. That is converted in euros is 80 euros. And then, as you all know, this is going to go to $70-80 in September or October. Also, when Windows 10 has end of life, this is going to get to 70 or 80 US dollars, and this is going to go also to 80 or 90 euros here in the European Union. But the charge, yeah, it's not doing well. It's 8 days out. Came out on the 15th. We are now it's now 23 May. So it came out 8 days ago on the 15th. And we have only 31,000, the all-time peak, and it's dropping down, 7,400 now playing in this moment. So, yeah, there you go, you know. The price also then for the DLC, the premium edition is 110 euros, and then 69, so 70 US dollars in this moment, before the price hikes kick in. So not good. But to come back to this, you know, you see over here, it's also, of course, included in a Game Pass, which also basically is cannibalizing the whole market. But that's another story. But yeah, then you can here with Game Pass you get it included, and then 79, and then 109 with the DLC campaign, and then you get the digital art book, you get the soundtrack with it, and you get a Divinity skin package, which I really don't give a crap about skins, but there you go, forever who cares out about. And the separate upgrade is then you pay 80 and then a 34 35 extra, and for extra 30 you have it included with the premium edition. But yeah, that's why this is you know. But to come back now to that story of the specs. First of all, we're going to check here on Steam, and in Steam, this game is not even available anymore. It's not being promoted anymore. The algorithm already have pushed it out. This one, by the way, Borderlands 3, you got for free in Epic. It's still $60 over here on Steam. That's kind of crazy also. Epic, by the way, is also cannibalizing a lot of the PC market, because in 4 or 5 years they received 250 games, many AAA games, pretty recent ones for free on Epic, and I have a huge back catalog still of games to play, and I think that's also cannibalizing the market a little bit. Who's gonna pay 60 bucks for a game that comes out if you have a back catalog of many AAA games that Epic is all the time giving away? I don't know, is it good for the market? Probably it's totally not, but that's cannibalizing a lot also. I mean, I have still a huge amount of games still to play, even AAA games, good games that I just got completely for free, So, but anyway, to come back to that here, look, they don't even promote Doom Eternal, Doom The Dark Ages, I keep on saying Eternal. I myself loved Doom 2016. I loved Doom 3 from 2005 or 6. That one came out. I loved it. I love Doom Eternal, one of the best games I've played in a decade or something. It was absolutely brilliant game. Here you see it's not even being promoted anymore after 8 days. So no promotions going on for Doom The Dark Ages. As you can see, it's you have Dark Souls, Oblivion, of course, over here, 54. Spider-Man, even still, my god, Spider-Man Remastered, still selling for how much? $60, man, crazy, man. By the way, I paid for Doom Eternal, I paid with all the DLCs. After a couple of months it came out, I paid $23. It was then the Premium Edition was still €90. It was then Doom Eternal and the 2 DLCs. Was $90, but I just picked it up on one of those key sites for like €23, and that was about as much as I wanted to pay for it. So that was a couple of months after it came out, and with all the DLCs included, where everywhere else it was still being sold for $90, the Premium Edition with the 2 DLCs. And 2016, man, I paid maybe a year after it came out or something, or 8 months after it came out. I paid like, I don't even remember, $6 or $10 or something I paid for it, and I've played hundreds of hours of it. So here is a Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, still for $40 without the DLCs. Still today, so, and I bought it in 2020 or something for $23 with all the DLC. So yeah, it's not even being promoted here anymore. The algorithm already pushed it out, as you can see. So there you go. What we have over here. Maybe it's here still being promoted. Probably not even. So yeah, it's not really going good, but we're gonna go also to this one I got also for free on Epic already years ago, BioShock Infinite. So normal price $29 is now $7.50, but I have it still in my. Oh, here it appeared all of a sudden from developers and publishers that because I bought already many Doom and It games. Now it appears over here only, but for the rest, for people who don't normally play these kinds of games, this is being recommended because I play these kinds of games and have all the other Dooms in my catalog, but otherwise not even being promoted anymore. Under $10, of course, it's not over there. But new and trending is not being shown. New and trending, as you can see. So here you go. Popular new releases. Can we find Doom: The Dark Ages over here? As you can see, it's nowhere to be found. And that's under, what are we seeing now? We're popular new releases, okay? So there is not to be found. And now we go to new releases. That is just that they just came out. It's not based on how many copies that they sold or how popular they are. And yeah, for the rest, it's not nowhere to be seen. As you can see over here. And now we'll go to the crazy system specs. And this is a big reason why many people left this game also. And that's why I don't understand why it runs on a Series S. Xbox Series S. But then on PC you need these crazy, first of all the price. And then these crazy specs over here. Here we watch a little bit the trailer.
This now. Launch the Slayer.
The Slayer has been activated.
I can never rule as king, so long as you are the only one they fear.
So there you go. There's the Doom, the Dark Ages, the first trailer that appeared over there. Cinematic Apple trailer and the launch trailer. I watched the launch trailer over here.
Still not responding. Defenses about to be breached.
Targets identified. Weaponry deployed.
Impact confirmed. The Slayer has been activated.
The time is now.
Now, my first reaction to that is, first of all, let just Mick Gordon do the music, because there's nothing I've listened in there that sticked with me that I thought was really, really good. To be fair, I don't think that the music is an extreme downgrade. So that's just the start of it. Second of all, it's a very different gameplay. The graphics look a little bit better, but not so much better than Doom Eternal. So I don't understand why all of this we need, frame generation, DLSS, and especially ray tracing. I mean, yeah, it looks a little bit better, but not that much better than Doom Eternal. But if we go into the system specs, then we'll see why many people have backed off of this game. You need a minimum Windows 10 11, of course, but what you need is a Zen 2 CPU, that's so minimum Ryzen 2000 series, but it needs to be minimum an 8-core 16-threaded chip, so it needs to be minimum a 2700X or a 3700 X. Zen 2 is already, the 2700 is already, and then Zen 3 is just a refined version of the 3700 is a refined version of the 2700. But that's what you minimum need. So 8 cores and 16 threads you need, 16 gigs of memory, then to recommended speed, and then these specs over here. Excuse me, they start looping over here again. If we go in and to the graphics score for minimum low quality 60 frames per second 1080p, you need minimum a NVIDIA RTX 2060 Super or better, or an AMD RX 6600 or better, playing on the lowest graphical settings at 60 frames per second in 1080p, and you need NVMe SSD. So not even a normal SSD, no, you need NVMe SSD. The minimum specs is completely outrageous. This most 70-80% of people don't have these specs. And then to recommended specs, that is Zen 3, so not Zen 2, but Zen 3, that is minimum 5000 series, with 8 cores and 16 threads, so minimum a 5700X or an Intel Core i7 12700K or better, and then 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is crazy. And then you need a minimum 10 gigabytes of VRAM as recommended specs, and 8 gigabytes on the minimum lowest specs or better. So an example for the minimum specs are NVIDIA RTX 3080 or better, or AMD RX 6800 or better. These graphics cards still sell used for 500-600. Maybe in some countries lower. Here in Portugal things are a little bit more expensive, but probably even in America and stuff, they still sell for 350, 400, maybe 500, the 3080s and stuff, you know. And then NVMe SSD stores, and this is the reason why many people just backed off of this, you know. 70% of the people, 75% I would actually say, maybe even 80% of people don't have these specs, you know. And for a 15, 20 hour campaign of a single player, and then the big entry price that people need to pay for it, you know, this is just way too high specs you need over here, you know. If you don't have ray tracing or an 8-core 16-thread CPU, you can't even run this, you know. This is completely nuts, this, and NVMe storage, you know. So yeah, that's where they have basically eliminated the biggest part of potential clients to buy this this game, you know. Then also the gameplay being very different, very downgraded soundtrack. I myself saw parts where people were playing the game and it seemed like the game wasn't finished. There were just whole empty areas where nothing even happened, or you had 1 or 2 or 3 of the simplest enemies, those zombies, those demons, and that was about it, you know. Glory kills extremely downgraded. The pace of the game is way, way, way lower. Even the environments, there were so many environments and jump mechanics and things you can do in Doom Eternal, and hidden areas and plateaus you could jump on. You could really use your environment, you know. And if I saw also some gameplay of it, the game looks very, very easy. And it is very easy, you know. You can just see that, you know, in lots of the gameplay, you know. So by the way, Tech 8 engine, it looks really, really good, but not so much better than Doom Eternal, you know. And why can they not let this game also run without ray tracing? I mean, if they can run it on it has basic ray tracing, the Xbox Series S, but very, very primitive ray tracing and a very low-end CPU. It's just an APU. It's the cheapest, advanced processor units, APUs, those little CPUs with a graphical die integrated in it, you know, so it has an onboard graphics. Why can it run on an Xbox Series S, you know, and then on the PC we need these ludicrous system specs over here, and this is what have alienated a lot of people, and also the price, you know. I mean, $80, you can buy an AMD Zen 3 6-core 12-thread CPU. That's the Ryzen R5 5500 cost as much as this game, 79 euros, you know. So, you can 32 gig of RAM you can buy, and you can keep still a tenner for the price of this game, you know. The price that you're going to pay for your 2 terabytes of NVMe storage, you can probably buy for $80, you know. No, you can buy for $80 2 terabyte of NVMe storage, you know. These guys need to really start thinking about, for a single player without multiplayer component, without any DLCs, you know, such a high system spec. Anybody's gonna upgrade his PC to these ridiculous specs over here to play a game as a 15-hour single-player campaign. Nobody's going to do that, you know. So they just alienated so many clients, and also the gameplay is just very, 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 very different. But there you go. That is my analysis of why I think that the Doom Eternal is not selling well. Doom, the Dark Ages. Keep on saying Eternal. By the way, I love that game. Why this game is not running well, you know. And by the way, Doom Eternal runs on R9 280Xs and 380Xs. There were graphical cards that were They were from 2013, and I was running it on my AMD FX 8300 that I bought in 2013 CPU that could run it actually quite well, you know. So I was just running it on in that time when it came out, Doom Eternal in 2020. You know, I was running it on an 8-year-old processor and an 8-year-old graphics card. I had after that bought an R9, an RX 580. I bought afterwards. But that was in 2016 or 17 I bought that. But, you know, I have seen people run it on an R9 290 and a 390X graphical cards. People were running that game on. You could run it on graphical cards that had 4 gigabytes of VRAM in it. They were 7 or 8 years old, you know, and it could run on DirectX 12, but it can also run on DirectX X11. And here not. Here it's like DirectX 12, where you need hardware ray tracing and probably even you know, relies on frame generation, all these fake frames that they then throw in there to give you the illusion you have a higher frame rate, you know. And you know, this is what let it down a lot of people. Also, bad. The soundtrack is just a complete downgrade. Nothing stayed with me. It's you know, and also of course, Game Pass also cannibalizes a lot of the market. But that's the reason why I think that on PC, on Steam, Doom failed and has abysmal numbers, as you could see, 31,000 after 8 days, and in the first 2 weeks you sell the most copies of a game. So after 8 days having a peak of only 31,000, Doom Eternal, if I remember, had 110,000 peak. And Doom 2016 was, I think, 80,000 the peak or something. So there you go, you know. Of course, keeping in mind that Doom Eternal had a little bit of higher peak because it came out during the lockdowns of COVID, so more people were at home, you know. But anyway, it's doing very bad, and I think it has to do with these high system specs, and they should have just you know, made it also run on a little bit older hardware, and then so much more people would have bought this game on Steam. So, but there you go. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay safe, take care. I'll catch you in the next video.